Hi guys, welcome to Rufio, it's Joe here. So I wanted to bring you this build for a little while, and I took a little break from the deck because things were really difficult for me at the beginning of the format. I took Burning Abyss to a couple of regionals, I got absolutely slaughtered. It didn't go well at all. The apparent weaknesses in the deck, well, they were apparent. So I wanted to give the deck another go. It's something I've been testing for a little while. I'm not sure that the ratios are perfect, but it is something I wanted to share with you guys. And hopefully even you can give me some feedback on things that you think are going well in your builds, or things that you might change as a whole. So the good thing about this particular build, and as you'll know by the title, this is the Block Dragon variant of the deck. And it is something that I kind of toyed around with a little bit before, and I wasn't convinced, but actually having played it, it's absolutely great. There are other decks that do the job better, but if you want to play Burning Abyss, this is certainly probably the way to play it going forward. So we do now have access to Orbital Hydralander all over again. So we can run triple Hydralander in this build. Again, we're going to be able to monitor the names in our graveyard a little bit better. I had considered running this at 2, but I really just want to see it as quickly as possible and resolve its effects and stop blowing up my opponent's field. So 3 is absolutely fine. Again, we've missed this card. The lack of snow has really, really hurt us. So being able to put this back in is just absolutely awesome. With that in mind, we do have our ways to tutor our graveyard a little bit. So I'm running 2 Block Dragon. I find that 3 can be a little bit cloggy. I think 2 is absolutely fine. It does the job it needs to do as is necessary, really. Now, with Block Dragon, we can get some searches, and we do have to think about those. Now, I'm still not sure on these ratios, but I feel like so far that these have been good. So I'm running double Power Giant and 1 Doki Doki. So I consider the second one of these, but it tends to be dead. You don't want to see it in your hand because it sucks. So it's just a free ad basically at this stage. Has some fringe benefits, but you know, essentially you don't really want to see it off a draw, and milling it kind of does nothing for you. So you want to get it off this search just so you can get Power Giant in hand and get it on board for free essentially. So yeah, I think that's absolutely fine as it is. And then to round off our predominantly rock monsters, we have triple Gigantes. Being able to search 2 of these off Block Dragon is absolutely awesome. This is also going to really help treat your graveyard. It also has the fringe benefit of being able to blow up back row. So adding 2 of these is absolutely fucking sweet. It doubles up as an extender. So yeah, it's really, really cool. I think this is absolutely the way to play it. Yeah, going forward. Moving on, we have to include this package in my eyes. We've got double Destrudo and 1 Mare. You could absolutely up this to 3, maybe even I would recommend it. I think 2 at the moment has been working okay for me, just fine. I don't want to open multiples, it sucks in multiples, so having 2 is just great. A Mare, of course you don't want to open it, but fortunately with Second's Light we have ways to put it back. I quite like this at these ratios. Again, this is for your Yazoo plays, and it's going to help you turbo into Borrelsword or Borrelode, should you choose to go down that route. With the fact that we are running the deck the way we are running it, we have access to Hydralander. We want to have as few multiples in grave as possible, or at least ways to get rid of them if we do at a whim. So with that in mind, we are running all of the goddamn Kaijus. We're running 6. 6, all different names, that various strengths. Of course, this can be a little bit more problematic. However, at least with this one and this one, you can out with just Dante, and the others, hopefully you've opened the second, you can go over it. This is just going to out problematic monsters. There are decks out there that still run boss monsters. There are decks that you can switch off. Salamangreat is all over the place at the moment. This is going to help switch off their back row, particularly ones that rely on reincarnated monsters. Yeah, it's just a really good way to out problematic things, and of course they're all different names so they don't conflict with Hydralander. We then move on to our pseudo BAs, we'll say. So we got 1 Tour Guide and triple Fiendish Rhino Warrior. So triple Fiendish Rhino Warrior is kind of a given. I'll put that there so you can see. And then obviously the 1 Tour Guide is just going to help shoot these out. These are really important to getting your plays going. The good thing about this is that given this is one of the cards that you kind of have to run as a 3 in a Burning Abyss deck, you're going to be able to banish it off the other card's effects because it is an Earth type. And it's going to help your plays keep going. It's going to help you still have access to your Hydralander, but it also means that you can still fully abuse the benefits of Fiendish Rhino Warrior. So I think that has to be played in those ratios regardless of what deck type you are running. We then move on to our actual Burning Abysses. Now, again, one of the problems I found that going into this format was that the Burning Abysses themselves aren't that strong. There's one or two that are great. They're just free bodies on board that kind of happen to have some fringe benefits here and there. So I am just running one-offs here. Again, you're not going to run loads of Skarms because you're not going to be going for one turn. You kind of want to turbo stuff out and just OTK your opponent. And the rest of them are just once per turn effects. So you find yourself in a position where if you have multiples of a card, it's dead anyway. So again, as few of these as possible, but whilst still being able to gain the advantages of them. One of the big mistakes I made in those regionals was cutting them too much. I think I was running like maybe 5 BAs in a deck. And then I just wouldn't see them and it would kill off a lot of my cycling of my engine, or they'd hit one and then I'd be in real trouble. So we've upped the numbers a little bit, but we still kept it viable for now. So we've got 1 Alec, 1 Farfa, 1 Libic. Again, this is just going to help you climb your link plays, banish your monsters, and switching off cards effects. And then we move on to our final 4. So we have 1 Barbar. Again, this is just going to help you get some burn on board. You could consider feasibly taking this out of the main deck because you're not going to make that much use of it. It is just essentially a free name at this stage. We have 1 Graph. It's at 1 for a reason. Just being able to summon 1 from deck is absolutely funky. We love this card so much. And it usually gets this boy, Seer. Seer's going to enable our loops with our Dante and Seer loop. You know the drill by now if you play this deck. But essentially, Dante's going to add this back, and this is going to summon Dante, and then the loop continues for the rest. If you play test with the deck a little bit, you'll see how quickly that comes up. And then we have finally 1 Skarm, because if we do go more than 1 turn, maybe we're forced to go first. We do just want to benefit from getting that added search. And that is it for the Burning Abyss monsters. They serve a very niche purpose at the moment. That is the whole point of the deck, is that they take you down one line of play. But fortunately, we have plenty of extenders to take us in different directions. So, again, in mind with the fact that we don't want to run too many multiples, we are running just 2 Gallus. You could potentially up this to a 3rd because it can be banished as an Earth type. Again, I just wanted to cut it down to the bare essentials, and this was one of those cards that I felt a 2 was just fine. It's a free body on board. It does burn, especially if you hit a card. It's absolutely awesome. It does suck when you hit Second's Light, but that's a problem for another day. We have double Mathematician. I think this is still really important in the deck. Again, it's Earth, so you can get rid of it quite easily, but it's going to help dump these 2 cards in the grave. So 1 Blowout Bulb and 1 Air Gym Saber. So this is just going to be a free body on board, essentially. It is Earth again, so you can just banish it. It can go into Link Revo quite easily. And then Air Gym Sabers, as you will know, if you play this deck, is a really, really easy way to just get a level 3 on board and go through your plays like that. Again, this is just the monster lineup that I find is working really well for me. You may disagree. Maybe you've got a better one. Maybe you've got some different ideas in how you would do it. Certainly let me know down in the comments. And then, of course, we finish it off with triple Second's Light. Absolutely. It's Pot of Greed on steroids. If you're running it in a deck that is built around it, this is actually better than Pot of Greed. And so many people who've never played these decks don't understand. This is better than Pot of Greed. The only problem is you can only run it in certain particular decks. So it's going to help unclog your hand, and draw 2 is always fantastic. That is it for the main deck. We are not running a side deck for this video, I'm afraid, guys. So we just move straight on to the extra deck. So, given that this is Burning Abyss, we are running 2 Dante and 1 Beatrice. 2 Dante is absolutely fine. You never need a 3rd. There's not really been a situation come up where I feel that a 3rd Dante is worth having. 2 is fine. 1 Beatrice is absolutely excellent. Unfortunately with Beatrice, most people are wise to her now, and they find ways to get around her, but on the off chance they don't, I do have the Pilgrim in there as well. I felt I had the space for it. However, probably in like 5% of your games, maybe even less, they're going to out the Beatrice in the right way for you to get the Pilgrim. But if they do, if they're stupid enough to get rid of it, you get the Pilgrim, and the Pilgrim is absolutely bonkers. It's a really, really good card. Really, really cool to get out, and it's a free body. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So that's it for the actual Burning Abyss cards in the extra deck. Pretty self-explanatory. Again, if you've done any digging, if you haven't, I certainly recommend testing it to see how they all work. We just have the 1 Synchro. We have Yazzie. This is going to help you get into your plays. There are combo videos out there which will explain to you how to do the combo. I'm not going to cover it in this video, I'm afraid, guys. It's just how it is. But Yazzie is absolutely awesome. This card is... I'm surprised this hasn't been banned, to be honest with you. It's just absolutely nuts. Card's so broken. Moving on to our actual links to round off the video, we have 1 Link Revo. This is for you Yazzie plays, but it can also help you get rid of Bulb. Just get a free body on board. We have 1 Nightmare Mermaid. one underclock taker. So these link 2s here are just going to give you that downward arrow, which is going to help you cycle through your Dante plays and get your Beatrice on board underneath one of these as your kind of standard go-to play. It's not as strong now as it used to be, but it is sometimes what you have to end on. Instead of just doing a Beatrice pass, you can set this up with Beatrice and give your opponents a bit more problems to get through. It's going to stop them if they're an Altergeist player, because it's going to reduce their melee seek to 0, amongst other things. But this tends to be how the play goes, so you have to have access to these two, certainly in your extra deck. We have the rest of the Nightmare package that I run. I don't run Griffin. I don't think Griffin is strong enough in this, quite frankly, or in any deck at the moment. However, I'm sure its time will come up again. So we have 1 Cerberus, 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn. This doesn't come up as much, but it is also Earth, so you can just banish it off for your benefit effects from your Block Dragon and all of those cards. You have 1 Phoenix and 1 Unicorn, just good utility cards, just out problematic things. Essentially, that is how it rolls. I did miss the downward arrows, particularly on link 3s, so we wanted to be able to get extra monsters on the field in extra monster zone terms. So we've got Decode Talker to just open up those 2 zones. Truthbania less so, because if you summon to it, stuff gets disappeared from the field. But this is going to help you out problematic back row, particularly things like Floodgates and that kind of stuff. They can really, really hurt this deck, and you just want ways to be able to get out of them. This can help you get there. And then we round off our links, finally, with Borrelsword and Borrelode. I couldn't decide which one to run, so I made the space for both. I think the Borrelode's come into its own recently quite well. A lot of people are playing it in stuff like Salamangreat and that kind of thing. Not really relevant to this video, but just to give you an idea. And Borrelsword is just like a win button. Essentially, this is going to be the line of play you go down. You're going to play through all your plays. If you're going second, you're going to get this bad boy out and just win. And if you're going first, you're going to try and set up the board, stall out your opponent, and then get into this and win anyway. And that is generally the line of play with this deck as a whole. Big, powerful monsters that you can just turbo out. There are other decks that do the same thing, but none of them quite as unique as Burning Abyss. So that is it for the video, guys. Thank you very much for checking in. This has been my first Burning Abyss profile in ages. It feels really, really good to see this deck together again. I've absolutely missed it. It's been breaking my heart looking at these cards, knowing that they're not being put to good use. So please, please, please go play your Burning Abyss decks. Go reinvigorate this deck and bring it back for the next format. Thank you very much for checking in, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.
I'm afraid that's all we have time for in this video. If by chance you haven't had enough of listening to me waffle at you through a video about a children's card game, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are on the screen, or if you're feeling really lazy, you can click the links in the description. While you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content too. It'll make me smile, I promise. And who can ask for more than that? Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.